the Racial Equity Fellowship. This is our first time we've ever done this. I know there are tons of leadership development opportunities, fellowships, etc., but we don't think that there is one that's focused on strengthening the leadership of people of color in the Los Angeles County homeless response sector. So this is for people of color who work in Los Angeles County, are connected to homelessness and ending homelessness somehow, and deeply committed to racial and social justice. A lot of folks, many of you are here today because you're like, what does this mean? Like, what are we going to do? What is the fellowship? Because this is our first year, we're figuring out a lot of those things as well. But I can say just sort of in a nutshell that we have 16 seats. So there will be 16 fellows that are part of this inaugural cohort. We'll spend 9 months together in community. We're going to meet via Zoom because of COVID. That might change later in the year or next year, but for now, we'll meet via Zoom on the second Thursdays of the month. I know the website says Tuesdays, ignore that. Second Thursdays of the month, 12 to 4 p.m. via Zoom. And for 9 months, we're going to hang out together. At a core, we're going to get to connect with our peers and really strengthen deep relationships. So that next year, the year after, when one of you's the VP at the foundation and the other's an executive director at a coordinated entry lead, and 2 of you are leading initiatives in the county, we have this shared experience and commitment and time that we've grown together, where we say, regardless of what happens in the sector, we're a group of leaders that are committed wholeheartedly to racial equity. We make a commitment to ourselves to center racial equity. We make a commitment to our communities, and we make the ultimate commitment to people experiencing homelessness to address all of the challenges within our sector, within our workplaces, through a lens of racial equity. So there's going to be tons of peer support from each of the fellows. We'll do executive coaching and mentorship. So again, this is a leadership development fellowship, not from a place of lack. We know that people of color have inherent leadership capabilities and that systems often exclude us because the system is going to do what it does. So we see this as an opportunity to deepen and invest in your leadership. For folks that are ready to be CEOs, but haven't managed $1 million budgets, we'll support you. We'll get you an executive coach to do that. Some of you might be finance professionals that are interested in sort of being behind the scenes, running money numbers, spreadsheets. You can do that all day, but you really want to strengthen your public speaking skills, your communication skills. We're going to get you an executive coach to do that. So wherever you're at in your leadership journey and whatever feels important to you to strengthen, the fellowship will be an opportunity to get some customized supports around that. We're going to do support with public identity development or branding. So we'll do public headshots, LinkedIn profile reviews, resume reviews. We'll get if it's important to you to have a professional image across your platforms, we'll support you in that. We'll make sure that you have all the bios that you need. I think executive leaders have multiple options for bios. That's something I didn't know, but want to support you in that. And then finally, outside of the sessions, we have an amazing team member at SVPLA. Her name's Allie Simon. She's a yoga instructor, a healer, a meditation practitioner, and she's going to bring a set of healing and wellness sessions, anything from sound baths to meditations to healing justice sessions. She's working with Dr. Melina Abdullah to bring a curriculum around Black history to SVP, and doing all sorts of other things. So those opportunities will be open and available to you as well. And then finally, we'll have a modest stipend that'll be paid directly to each of the fellows. So it'll be a $2,500 stipend just to say, we see you, we believe in you, and we want to support you. And that'll be unrestricted funds that'll go directly to each of the fellows. All right, I'm going to keep talking, get us through this. Again, if you have questions, you can go ahead and keep putting them in the chat. You can private chat Janisha if that feels more comfortable for you. And then I promise we'll have time to talk about them in a minute. So who is this fellowship opportunity for? I think that's probably what you're asking yourself if you're here today. So the initiative, as we talked about, is really about affecting change at the highest levels of leadership. And so this fellowship is best suited for people that currently hold mid to senior level management positions. And the reason for that is because we want to advance the next set of folks into executive leadership. It's for people of color. You all know the statistics. We know that Black folks, Indigenous folks, people of color make up a lion's share of the people experiencing homelessness on any given day. And yet we continue to be significantly underrepresented in executive leadership positions across the sector. And so this initiative is about changing that. We want solutions to homelessness to be led by system impacted folks, to be led by people of color. And we know that talent is there, right? We're in Los Angeles County, the most diverse county in the country, I think, or at least close to the most diverse. And we know that leaders of color are out there. So this opportunity is for people of color. You must have a track record of impact in ending homelessness. So what this means is that you're familiar with the system, you understand sort of Los Angeles, its homelessness problem, you understand the way we deliver services, you have an idea of sort of policies, things that have been passed, right? You have an understanding of the system to some extent. And I shared my bio in the beginning, starting on the front lines, managing programs, doing some policy stuff, et cetera. You might have a journey similar to that. You may not have any of that experience. But for the application process, it'll be important to think about who are you as a person and what concrete actions have you taken to advance ending homelessness here in Los Angeles. And finally, you must have the ability to participate in all fellowship sessions. So second Thursdays of the month, 12 to 4 p.m. via Zoom. If you think you're going to miss one or more of those sessions, we would encourage you to hold off this application cycle and apply next year. So we're going to get to questions in a second, but just wanted to offer up a set of personal discernment questions to help you think about, if this fellowship is the right fit for you and if it's the right time. So these are 3 questions that we thought might help you think through that. The first being, do I feel called to executive leadership within the next 1 to 3 years? So do you know deep within your spirit, right, like in your belly, that you are meant to be an executive leader? And what we mean by executive leader is CEOs, chief operating officers, chief program officers, vice presidents of programs, chief financial officers, human resource officers, executive directors, right? Do you feel called to the highest level of leadership in an organization or in a system? The second question is, do I have a personal commitment to racial equity? And am I interested in solving homelessness through the lens of racial equity? Do you know, again, deep within your core, that every decision you make as a leader in the movement to end homelessness is going to be centered on equity? Every hiring decision you make, every advocacy position you fight for, every report you write up, is there going to be a component of racial equity in it? Do you know that's important? Do you know that's what you want to move forward in the world? And then the third question I think is really important is, do you want to work within the system to affect change? So this is a fellowship and this is an initiative about transforming the existing homeless services sector. And so it seems like this fellowship is probably a good fit for you if you know you want to work in the system, right? You know, you want to be part of an organization, not someone, we have tons of great sort of inside outside agitators, consultants, advocates, et cetera. And this may not be the opportunity for you. If those are the career paths that you want to choose, we're looking for folks who say, yes, I'm all in. I want to work for an organization. I want to work for the public sector. I want to work for a foundation to affect change. To clarify, it does not have to be the organization that you work for currently. You don't have to be interested in advancing through the ranks there. It doesn't even have to be an organization that you've worked at in the past. So there's no restrictions on that. It's not like there's no restrictions on that. But these are 3 questions that might help you think about the fellowship, but also just think about, your life as a leader, right? Are these things that are important to you? So if you looked at this list and you were just like, yes, 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 overwhelmingly, yes, this is what I want to do, then obviously this is an opportunity that you should apply for. If you were on the fence about some of the questions, you were unsure, you might want to spend time with colleagues or mentors, friends, your coworkers to ask, like, is this me? Are all of these things me? Does it sound like me? Should I apply for this opportunity? And if you looked at this list of questions and you were like, not trying to do any of those things, doesn't make me feel good, not ready, I don't know yet, then you may want to think about holding off and applying at a different time. I will say, and I think we've said this on the website, that it's important not to self-select out of the application process. Oftentimes, because we fail to see ourselves in executive leadership, because the system centers, white folks, particularly white men, I think, I've been guilty of sort of second guessing my leadership capacity, and that's not what we're trying to do here. So if you are curious, if you think you're qualified, please apply. Don't self-select out of this opportunity.